Welcome to the second episode in this locomotion series. Today I will introduce 4 different locomotion elements that we will practice in isolation. Our first element, quadruped crawling. All of our patterns will start and end in the squat. This will be important for the integration and improvisation phase. For this crawling, we're going to be doing a contralateral pattern. That means the opposite side arm and leg are going to be coordinating together. Now notice that this pattern starts with a placement of the hand, followed by 1, 2 crawls, and then a placement, return back to squat. So it's place, step, step, squat. From the squat, we're going to turn on our back leg so the knee faces the direction of travel. Take 2 steps in the crawl, and then return back to squat. So again, rotate on the back leg, place the first hand, step, step, place the second hand back to squat. Notice that in the crawl, the hand and foot are being picked up and placed at the exact same time. So in this next repetition, place, place, together at the same exact time. Our second element, Chapéu Pequeno. In this pattern, we're going to rotate 180 degrees, place our outside hand, and rotate back to the starting position. So notice that the starting and ending positions are the same in the fact that I face the same direction, but I'm moving laterally on each repetition. Notice also that the feet never leave the ground. They are sliding on the ground throughout. I'm using all 4 limbs. The limb on the ground to push into the ground, the free limb to help guide me over, and both legs to sweep back and into squat. From the squat, turn 180 degrees so you face behind you. Place the opposite side arm that is squatted on the ground. Use the opposite side limb and the legs to sweep yourself over. 180 degrees, place, sweep, sweep. Chapéu means hat, so you can think of sweeping as sweeping the brim of the hat long with the legs. Our third element, lateral lizard. This pattern is going to start similar to the crawling where we rotate on the back leg, but now we're going to shoot the back leg through, press down, place the second hand, and rotate around. You'll notice that the starting and ending positions are different. So if I start facing forward, I'm going to end facing backward. This can be a good cue to see if you've messed up in the middle of the transition. This pattern also moves laterally, so you shouldn't be moving forward or backward, only left to right. You'll also notice that after the push-up, my opposite side leg will bend and rotate around. It does not stay straight, it bends so that I can balance in the position. Rotate on the back leg so the knee faces the direction of travel. Place the back hand, shoot the back leg through, push down, ear to the ground, place the second hand, rotate the leg around, come to squat so you're facing the opposite direction, and repeat. Notice the orientation of the body. My body is slanted. I'm not doing a normal push-up position, but the ear is touching the ground, not the nose. If this is too difficult, we can do a 2-arm push-up. So you're going to place the second hand early, push down with both arms, come around just as we normally do it, and then push back up. So the only difference is you're placing that second hand and using it for support in the push-up. If the 2-arm push-up is too challenging, we can do a straight-arm version. So you're going to place the hand early, but no push-up is going to be done. The same motion of the lower body happens. So I place both arms stay straight, and I continue the rotation. Our fourth and final element, low bridge rotation. Our motion is going to start forward, placing the hand in front and then rotating laterally. So we're still going to be moving from left to right. You will not be moving forward or backward in space. For this one, it's very important to look at the hand orientation. So I'm rotating on the pisiform bone, lifting the fingers. This allows for a smooth transition into the rotation to bridge. This is also a low rotation to bridge, so my knees will shoot forward and the amount of mobility needed on the spine is much less than a high bridge rotation. Place one hand on the ground in front of you in front of the same side leg. Sweep the other leg around, rotate the other hand around, place the pisiform on the ground and continue the rotation back to squat. The starting and ending positions are the same. You'll face one direction, end one direction. Make sure the fingers stay lifted. If the fingers come down, the rotation becomes very sticky. After the placement of the hand, the knees are going to shoot forward, and this is going to allow the hands to become very light and for that rotation to be very smooth. So here I'm going to show you the difference between a low bridge rotation. This is the low bridge position here. Notice the knees, notice the bend, notice how light my hands come. I can take one arm off, still balance. It's very light, very easy on mobility. Now in the high bridge, I need much more spinal mobility, much more shoulder mobility. The position is much more arched and open. This is an option, but because it requires so much more mobility than the low bridge, it's often too difficult to start with. If the low bridge is too challenging, we're going to do a tabletop rotation. Everything stays the same, but we're going to take out the bridge rotation completely. I place the hand, I keep the hips high, the knees shoot forward, I place the second hand and then rotate around. So here you can see hips very high, rotating, sweeping the legs on the ground. What we want to avoid is the hips sinking down. We want to be pressing them up. Welcome back to my layer. Now we're going to go over how to program this isolation work. Before I go into that, a common mistake with isolation work is to move too quickly. So you do a couple repetitions, you say, I got it. In reality, you got very little. So we want to practice enough so that we get a benefit, but we don't want to practice so much that we're always staying in isolation. So for this, you want to accumulate 50 to 100 repetitions in each direction for each pattern. So the way that I've laid it out, if you do 4 sessions of this, 4 separate sessions, you will hit this mark. So if we look at the program, we have A1 and A2. This is the warm-up game that we had in the previous episode, so you can watch that to understand how to do that. And then B1 to B4 are the isolation exercises that we learned in today's video. So we have the 4 exercises. You'll be doing 5 reps in each direction, and you'll be going from one to the next. You'll have about 60 seconds of rest in between each element, and then after the last element, you'll rest 2 minutes and then repeat that cycle 3 total times. Then after the cycle is done, I have the quote-unquote cool down. So this is the C exercise. This is seated stillness for 5 minutes. There are many different ways to go about this stillness work. For right now, I just want you to focus on trying to relax the breath. So you can focus on the inhale, the exhale, make it very long and soft. Just set a timer for 5 minutes. Don't look at it until it goes off, and then you have finished the session. If you repeat this twice per week, you will get that repetition in 4 total sessions. So in 2 weeks, you will get all of the repetitions, about 60 or something in each direction. I know I said I was going to make a video and release it every week, but for people that are following in the now, following my videos right now, I want you to practice this in isolation. And to help with this, I'm going to wait 2 weeks to release the next video, which will be on integration. So for now, get to practicing. I'll see you in 2 weeks, and that's the session.